In this video, we're going to discuss skyboxes. So this is a little bit different than what I'm typically covering, but yeah, I am going somewhere with this. I've got some ideas, and those ideas would include using skyboxes. And since not everybody's going to be familiar with that, I thought let's start at the beginning and talk about skyboxes, and then we'll build up from there. So what is a skybox? Well, this is a really good example of what a skybox really is. So imagine you have a three-dimensional cube, and on that cube, on the interior walls of that cube, images are being projected, right, or applied. So the whole level would be inside this cube. Like we open this up, we kind of zoom in, we'd be inside the box. The whole level is inside the box. And then the sky all around us, everywhere we look, it has an image of a sky. That's a skybox. Now, there are skyboxes that are included in Max, and they're actually pretty good skyboxes, but they're not, everything, right? For example, this was a really cool idea where somebody made like a city uh, skybox. So you could have a level where you have buildings and streets and a whole little city scene. And then you could use this skybox or maybe this one over here to make it feel like it's bigger than it really is. I mean, obviously you're not going to be able to get to these buildings. They're just in the background, but it would make it feel like you're in the middle of a huge city as opposed to just the level size itself. And you wouldn't run into the edge, of the city necessarily. So those are some cool ideas, some examples of outside of the box thinking that, isn't included in Max. Now, there are ways to make skyboxes without using the product that I'm about to show you. However, I don't really understand that process. I'm not necessarily able to explain that. It's not easy to do. I can tell you that. You'd have to bring in a three-dimensional cube, and then you would have to have the images cut up in such a way, and I'll show you exactly how they would have to be cut up in order to project the right image on the top and the bottom and the left and the right and the front and the back. It's a lot of work. This product I'm about to show you simplifies that process a great deal, and it is well worth the price. Now, to make sure it's clear, I was not asked to mention this product. I am not paid to endorse this product in any way. This is my own personal opinion and my own suggestion. So here we have on the Game Creator Store, we have Skybox Plus, and that is by GraPhiX, this talented little baby you see here. He has a video, but the video doesn't really have any audio, at least none that I could hear. It kind of walks you through the steps, but it's hard to follow without somebody, talking. So I'm going to explain all the steps just in case it's not clear from that video. But it's fairly cheap. I think it was like $10, so not too bad. And you can reuse it as many times as you need to. So you get your money's worth for sure. Let me show you how it works. So I have downloaded some skyboxes, and you'll see I've got a number of them that I've been experimenting with, but I downloaded one to use as an example. Let me browse for that here. So let's see, I want to use Alien 4. And right away, I want to show you that the image, in this case, is upside down. All right, this is supposed to be like the bottom, this is supposed to be the top. So be aware of that. If you run into that issue, there's a couple of different ways that you can solve it. The first way would be to right click on the image and we rotate it left, do it again, and now it's right side up. So then that would work. You could also open it in Paint and do the rotating thing there as well, but that's just one extra step you don't need. So back to the program and bring in our right side up image. That's the way we need it. And we're going to tell it it's going to be a GameGuru Max skybox. You could also make a classic skybox. You could also just make it into images. Maybe you want to use it for some other program and you want it to be cut up in this way. But this is the way it would need to be cut up. See, so you need a image that is 2:1, meaning it's twice as wide as it is high. It does, those dimensions are required. If it's anything less than that, it's going to tell you this image is not 2:1, or it's not compatible. You need an image that is compatible. So bear that in mind. But we've gotten past that step. We've told it that it's a GameGuru Max output that we want. So we're going to set that. It's going to ask us, okay, where do we want to put this? Click browse, and here it's pointing directly to the Skybank folder in the Steam library installation folder. So this is one thing to bear in mind, that if Max is updated, it's possible that this Skybank folder could be essentially reset to default, and any custom Skyboxes might be lost. So you probably want to back these up just in case that happens, and then just put them back in if that were to happen. It's not, it's not the end of the world, it's just inconvenient, really. But we want to add it here. We need to give it a name. So I'm going to give it a new folder, and I'm going to call that Ice World. I think it was 4, right? So we'll just use it like that. Okay. So there, so you can see I had Ice World 1. There's Ice World 4. Bring that in. I think there's a couple more in there. It does detect a size to use. I've always been just sticking with the 2048 by 2048, and that seems to be just fine. If you want it to be, larger, you can. I haven't played around enough with that to see what the difference is. And honestly, smaller is probably better without going so small that you lose fidelity. So I would say stick with this. Experiment a little bit if you want to, but this has been really good for me. So by default, we have high compression, smaller file size, BC7, or we can choose HDR, which is high dynamic range. I'd have to Google that to find out what that is. But again, ultimately what it comes down to is we don't need this thing hogging up a bunch of memory. It's just a Skybox. It's just in the background. Unless there's some reason why you need it to be high definition, I would just stick with the default. We click generate, and now it's going to ask you, okay, do you want to edit the sky spec? So the sky spec is a file that it's going to generate, and for the sake of argument, I'm going to say yes. And this is the parameters that are going to be recorded in that sky spec file. You can always open that file up and tweak these things later. But for now, like, you can, if you know where you want your sun rotation to be, and your sun location X, Z and Y location to be, then you could set it here. You can reset it. If you change it, you can reset it back to default. I have been sticking with just whatever the default says, and it seems to be fine, but there might be a situation where it doesn't quite look right and you want to adjust it. So you can always go back in there in that file and play around with it until it looks just right. But we'll just stick with the defaults and save. So there it goes. It's operating. It's projecting all the images. It's basically just taking that image and cutting it up into 6 different smaller images. And we'll see the output here in a moment. So there you can see that it's taken that image, it's cut it up into the way that we need it, and it's recorded it in as a DDS, which is just the file type it's using for the images. And then it's asking, hey, do you want to make another one? We're going to say no, not this time. So we'll say no. Now let's load it up in Max and see what it looks like. So I'm going to make a new level. So I've added a new level. Open that up. The terrain generator will open here in a moment. Yep. And I think for the ice world, we're going to want a snow biome. So we'll choose that. Just make it a small level because we're not going to do anything with it. We're just playing. So nice little small level. I'm going to leave all the other defaults alone. And we'll open that level. We'll just call this Ice World 4. 43. All right, so here it's using a dynamic sky. Right? We can change that to a skybox. Just clicking that. So you can see that Here's a skybox that's already kind of selected. And the one we brought in was Ice, what was it? Ice World 4. Click on that one. Awesome. See? So now we have this cool little like sky and the scenery in the background. Make this cool little alien world or something. So that's an example of what a skybox can do for you. Um, let's play around with a couple of other examples. I'm going to exit here. Save that. So here's a couple of examples that I was messing around with earlier. Open up Alien World. Okay, so here we've got like kind of like this alien looking skybox, and I just used the mountain biome to make a rocky planet kind of thing, so we could be exploring this little planet. So all kinds of cool things you can do with it. I'm going to be demonstrating some more examples of what you can do with skyboxes in future videos that have to do with specific behaviors, but I wanted to at least give you the basics of skyboxes and how they work and what you can do to make your own skyboxes. If you enjoyed the video or if you learned anything new, please be sure to click the like button down below. That helps me out a lot. If you're new here, or if you just haven't subscribed yet, I'd love to have you stick around. There's lots more to see and do. And lastly, if you'd like a notification for whenever a new video is posted, just click the bell icon and that'll let you know when a new video is ready. Thanks so much for watching all the way through. I always appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Hey, don't forget there's a written guide for every behavior, including ones I haven't yet covered on this channel. And if you want to learn some more, why don't you check out this video next.